Okay. Hello. Hi. Audio check. Are we live? Excuse me. Sorry. Okay. We're here and I don't know what I'm doing with this thing. Unpinned message. Okay. So we're doing a little members live. We're here now and updating a bit of the story that we covered the other day. This woman that was jogging and was killed. Nancy Grace had an episode on this guy. He's been charged. There's an affidavit that has come out. And I even saw, I'll see if I can find it. I think even the administration had something to say. I don't know if I can find it. Let me see real quick. That's weird. Does it want to work there? Okay. I'll type it out. Hmm. Well, of course, I guess there's been some political back and forth, people blaming. Let me see here. Just want to see Biden's response. Trump blames Biden, but the White House did have a response. I thought they just deferred back to the border, the ICE. Is that taken up by ICE? I thought I read that somewhere, but I couldn't verify. I saw it on Twitter. They said people should be held accountable. We would like to extend our deepest condolences to the family and loved ones of Laken Riley, a White House spokesperson said. People should be held accountable to the full extent of the law if they're found to be guilty. Given this is an active case, we would like to refer you to the state law enforcement and ICE. It's kind of amazing because I know they haven't dealt with the serious situation at the border. They just referred them to ICE. Okay, amazing. There was also this situation separate, but just kind of to put out a little PSA. I saw this earlier. Miami police warn public after victim claims Uber driver drugged, and robbed her. And they put this guy's name out. Let me show you here. I think they even did a picture. And this just kind of just a PSA. You hear all these stories with Uber and all these situations. You would think that, I don't know, the app has the person's information, the driver's information. Maybe they probably not the smartest thing. Danny Estalian Morad Acevilas. According to police, he was an Uber driver who detectives believe sometimes did not use the app to give rides. A woman visiting South Florida from California said it happened back in January when she was on South Beach and had too much to drink. She claims to have been waiting on an Uber when Morad convinced her to get into his gray Chevy Traverse. Also, maybe he didn't use the app, so maybe he would just pull up to people. The victim told detectives she only remembers walking or waking up naked and in pain at Motel 77 on Southwest and 8th Street. She said based off of the injuries she sustained, she believes she was drugged. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been able to tolerate the pain. Police said during the investigation, they learned that the victim had several unauthorized transactions on her credit cards. There are no words to describe the sickening behavior. We removed the driver's access as soon as this was reported to us and are supporting law enforcement in their investigation. Police think there may be more victims out there. I want to see too. I don't know if there's like a video on it. Just sidestepping with these crimes of opportunity. Though the way Nancy dubbed this other situation with the jogger. This is the guy's face right here. I guess they're looking for this guy. I guess he hasn't been caught. This Miami situation. There is a video. Let's check it out real quick. We'll check out the video and then we'll get back to the main story.
Driver behind bars accused of luring a woman into his car, robbing and then attacking her.
Oh, they got him.
The victim describing the incident in court. Local 10's Christian La Rosa is live in Miami with the latest on the investigation as police are looking for even more potential victims. Christian.
Louis, that is the big concern out here at the Miami Police Department, as this woman that has come forward is accusing this former Uber driver of kidnapping her, drugging her, robbing her, and finally, according to what we're learning, raping her.
So we had a victim that got in the wrong Uber.
Miami police wants to know if you have been.
And that's the thing too. You gotta this lady was drunk, so maybe she, but a lot of people say to check the license plate, see that matches, that the vehicle description of the Uber that you ordered matches, all that stuff.
The victim of this man, 49-year-old Danny Estalin Morad Avesillas, he was an Uber driver who detectives believe sometimes did not use the app to give rides.
He made me believe that was my Uber and say, get in the car.
A woman from California says it happened back in January when she was on South Beach and had too much to drink. She claims to have been waiting on an Uber when Murad convinced her to get into his gray Chevy Traverse, similar to this one in this picture. The victim telling detectives she only remembers waking up naked and in pain at this Motel 77 on Southwest 8th Street.
The injuries that I have, there's no way if I was not drugged that I would be able to tolerate the pain.
During the investigation, we learned that she had several unauthorized transactions made on her credit card.
This Monday, an Uber spokesperson telling us in a statement, there are no words to describe this sickening behavior. We removed the driver's access as soon as this was reported to us and are supporting law enforcement with their investigation.
Because we do believe there's other victims out there.
So I just checked, and Murad is so far only being charged with fraud charges. But if and when he is charged with kidnapping, the maximum punishment for that is life in prison.
Oh.
Live in Miami.
So I don't know. I guess they're going to have to find proof and evidence. Well, back to the main story. Migrant suspect in Laken Riley murder accused of seriously disfiguring nursing student, as affidavit reveals grim details in case. And basically what it says in the affidavit. Maliciously causes bodily harm to another by seriously disfiguring her body or member thereof, disfiguring her skull. Just want to go down to the bottom. So, murder malice, second, murder felony, second, aggravated battery, aggravated assault, false imprisonment, kidnapping, obstruction, emergency call, obstructing emergency call, because I believe she called, I guess. And I'm not sure what that says. Death of person something. Nancy.
Now streaming on Hulu.
You're supposed to feel safe when you're off to college.
Kids aren't supposed to die in college. Kids aren't supposed to die.
Just for your dog. What's in?
Am I hearing about why did she go jogging? Why did she go jogging alone? On and on and on. Can we talk about the illegal immigrant that murdered her? That watched her as she jogged at UGA University?
No, Nancy. Oh, sorry, I messed it up. Nancy, no.
Beautiful young nursing student has been murdered. Why am I hearing about why did she go jogging? Why did she go jogging alone? On and on and on. Can we talk about the illegal immigrant that murdered her? that watched her as she jogged at UGA, University of Georgia, and waited for the right moment to pounce? Can we talk about that? Look, I hate politics. I hate the Republicans, and I hate the Democrats, and I hate the independents. They all lie.
Oh, sure.
But I want answers. I want the truth. Why was this guy here? Why was he not already behind bars? Why was he not already deported? And can anybody tell me why this happened to Laken? I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us here at Crime Stories and on Sirius XM 111. This beautiful nursing student had a horrible, horrible death. Look at Laken. She's absolutely stunning. Her family has supported her, helped her move forward in life, and all she wanted to do was help other people. Why is this girl dead? Why was her body found on a jogging path near a lake in Athens? What are we doing to protect our own citizens, the most vulnerable, women, children, minorities? Are we doing anything? Because it feels like we're not. Let's start with what we know. Take a listen to Chief Jeff Clark at University of Georgia.
Okay, thank you for the super chat for the 10. Says, I almost fell for a guy posing as a cabbie. I noticed he didn't have the toll/mileage thing on his dash and ran. He sped off. It's the only thing that saved me. Be very cautious. Oh, jeez. Shambot says, thank you for forcing Nancy upon me. Stockholm Syndrome me.
Georgia PD.
On February 22nd, 2024, at approximately 12:07 p.m., the University of Georgia Police Department received a call from an individual concerned for a friend who had gone jogging at the intramural fields. Our officers responded to that area and immediately began a search of the area to attempt to locate the individual. Officers located the individuals in the area behind Lake Herrick at approximately 12:38. The individual was unconscious and not breathing and had visible injuries. Officers immediately began rendering medical aid. Emergency medical responders determined that the individual was deceased upon their arrival.
This poor little girl. There's nothing they could do to save her. When I first heard she was unresponsive, I thought maybe she was just passed out cold. Maybe she was in a coma, but no, she was left there dead. I'm going to find out all the facts about how she was left. You know, I want to point out that normally I get a bad taste in my mouth. My teeth go on edge when I hear campus police are handling a case. Think back to Kristen Smart. Remember that? How badly they ruined the murder investigation. But in this case, I've got to say, it seems to me that the UGA PD did everything right, God willing. But it sounds...
By the way, you know, my ADDS, just real quick, I saw this story the other day about some guy in the military. He set himself on fire in protest of the Gaza war. And so he lit himself on fire at the Israel embassy in Washington. You guys heard about this? So there's a post now because I was wondering what ended up happening with him. I thought I heard he was like in critical care or something. Now they're saying he passed away. And he filmed himself and live streamed it on social media to a platform, to Twitch, claiming he'll no longer be complicit. So he just burned himself alive. Wow. 25 years old, Aaron Bushnell. That's interesting. I mean, we could have probably done a live on that. But just for the people that saw that, I was just wanting to give you an update because a lot of times I'm kind of checking the news while I'm browsing. I'm wondering if he had any kind of issues. We could look into that at some point. I don't know. Maybe on the second channel. That's a little. One article here in the New York Post says he was raised in an abusive Christian cult. Oh boy. Said to engage in mind control. Oh. His parents continue to have strong ties to murky religion, to a murky religious sect. All right. I don't know. If more arises out of that, maybe we'll check it out. I don't even know if I can show the image of this guy lit himself on fire. Should have probably chosen a different platform than Twitch. I mean, I don't know. There's no discoverability on Twitch. You either have it or you don't. Bad platform to pick that on, but maybe it's for the best that less people saw that. I don't know how many people saw it. Wow. I don't know. There was some people on Twitter say, "Oh, it's for, he did it for a cause and he'll be remembered." I can't say that's the way to go about it. Lighting yourself on fire, but maybe we'll talk about it on another stream. But yeah, just want to update that.
Sounds like they did. You were just hearing Chief Jeff Clark as he addresses the discovery of this young girl's body. With me, an all-star panel to make sense of what we know right now. Before I go to Jason Dennis, main anchor WTVM on the case from the beginning, I want to go to a longtime friend and
I'll look into the article and see if they mention what cult. And yeah, Hoax, I heard they changed like their ad policy. I guess they're getting desperate, so they've allowed certain things now.
Colleague who I immediately thought of when I heard about Laken Riley, the nursing student, is Phil Vitrano. We all lived through, on the outside looking in, when Karina Vitrano, his beautiful young daughter, was out jogging. He always jogged with her like my dad did. That one day he had a back ailment that he just couldn't go. And when she didn't call him and he didn't hear from her, he knew something was wrong. He knew it was just a sixth sense. Phil Vitrano, thank you for being with us. Phil Vitrano, by the way, was hauled out of his daughter's funeral as they were about to have the funeral to get his DNA taken. Did he complain? No. Did he endure abuse online, in the media, speculation? Yes. He withstood it all until Karina's killer was convicted. Phil, when you see another story, when you heard about
the group of the Christian group is called the Community of Jesus, and apparently his parents have ties to it, and some former members said the Community of Jesus tries to control its members by trapping them in a perpetual state of horror. People don't realize the mind control that goes on in the background. Never heard of them before. We can check it out at some point. You exist in fear because you feel trapped. The group's Church of Transfiguration is about 100 yards from the Bushnell's home. Okay. Wow. Maybe you have problems.
Laken Riley. Do you feel like nothing is being done?
Nancy, when I first heard the story, to quote Yogi Berra, it was like deja vu all over again. I mean, we had Vanessa Marcotte, and then we had Molly Tibbetts, and now we have Laken. And the situation, the circumstances are so similar. I mean, the perpetrator was not a non-U.S. citizen, had no care about human life, just dumped the bodies. And yeah, I mean, when I first heard this, I went right back to 7 years ago, which was not a good place.
Not a good place at all. Guys, Phil Vitrano is weighing in. Phil, please jump in whenever a thought occurs to you, because you have lived through this same exact scenario. Let me go straight out to Jason Dennis now for the very latest in what we know happened. I'm very curious. First of all, Jason Dennis, take a listen to Rachel Bonilla, Crime Online.
Riley sets out on a morning run. She grabs her phone, telling her roommate that she'll be back after a half run at the UGA campus intramural fields. When Riley doesn't return for hours, her roommate calls campus police 911 at 12:07 p.m.
Jason Dennis, again, thank you for being with us. I want to talk about not so much leading up to the discovery of her body. I want to talk about the evidence. I want to talk about how she was found, who found her, the condition of her body. Hit it.
She was found right next to a lake, next to the intramural fields. And my son is a sophomore at the University of Georgia. He actually parks there at the intramural fields. And so around this lake is a pretty normal place for students, for people in the community of Athens, Georgia, to run around. And this was.
So, by the way, with this guy that killed Riley, apparently he was married, and that woman had spoken out. According to Franco, the couple crossed the border into the U.S. in September of last year, living in New York City for a time, where Ibarra worked various food delivery app companies. In November, the couple split, and Ibarra moved to Georgia, where he lived with his brother, which I believe his brother was arrested as well. I think he was, I guess, not legal or something, and they got him for something. Who appears to have a past connection with UGA. Speaking on the allegations now leveled against Ibarra, Franco, which is the wife, okay, Laken Franco, she's 23 years old. Franco told the Post that the charges do not reflect the calm man that she knew, and she would like the opportunity to speak with him again. He's loving, caring. He would never do this. No, I added those last few parts. But she did say she'd like the opportunity to speak with him again. Hashtag Kayla Montgomery. Despite that, she also said that if the allegations are true, he should pay for what he did. Yesterday, Jose was arrested. My brother-in-law called me early to say he'd been arrested, Franco said. We got married so we could join our asylum cases. He was the person I thought I could see through. We've known each other our entire lives. She added he wasn't aggressive, none of that. We had problems as a couple, but our problems weren't physical. We wouldn't punch. She said we wouldn't punch. Okay? We wouldn't punch, but we'd raise our voices. I want to talk to Jose. I have a lot of faith that this wasn't him, that there is a misunderstanding somewhere. But if he did, he has to pay what he did for what he did, truly. He could never do this. Oh. Hello? No. Hello? Oh no. My mic. How do I sound now? Hello? Let me check. Oh man, it's always something, ain't it? Let's see. All right, what did I sound before? Let me see what you guys were listening to. Sounds good to me, though. I re-listened to the audio. It actually sounded good, but I don't know. That's weird. Okay. So yeah, I don't know if you guys heard what I was reading, but yeah, she doesn't believe that he would do something like that. He was nice and soft-spoken, and he was a nice guy, and she would like the opportunity to talk to him. But and she doesn't believe he could do something like that. But if he did, then he needs to be held accountable. So the guy was married.
On a Thursday morning, right in the middle of the week, nice weather there at Lake Herrick, and as the UGA police chief was talking about, and he says he called this a crime of opportunity. So she went there running, we assume by herself, And, he apparently, Mr. Ibarra, 26-year-old Jose Antonio Ibarra, the suspect here, an illegal immigrant from Venezuela, he lives in an apartment complex. It's literally right next to this lake. That area where she was killed, where she was found, is right behind his apartment complex. So essentially a 5-minute walk for him to that area.
Ooh, wow. So the cops had said a crime of opportunity, but could he have been stalking her?
UGA police chief was talking about, and he says he called this a crime of opportunity.
Yeah.
So she went there running, we assume, by herself. And, he apparently, Mr. Ibarra, 26-year-old Jose Antonio Ibarra, the suspect here, an illegal immigrant from Venezuela, he lives in an apartment complex. It's literally right next to this lake. That area where she was killed, where she was found, is right behind his apartment complex. So essentially a 5-minute walk for him to that area. So as UGA police called it, a crime of opportunity. He's still behind bars, no bond, long list of charges like malice murder, felony murder, kidnapping. And she was found there, like you said, like we heard before, unresponsive and dead on the scene. So she was left dead there. Blunt force trauma is the cause of death we know so far. So we're not sure if there was any kind of sexual assault or rape involved. That's not one of the charges right now. But we do know that, he's accused of killing her in a brutal way and leaving her there dead to be found around lunchtime last Thursday. And students have not been, they canceled classes on Friday at the University of Georgia, one of the top schools in the entire nation. And the students just returning to class today on this Monday. So as my son and others have said, it's very somber, very sad vibe.
He could have been watching from across the lake, I guess, or he lives right by the lake. Steve sent this link. This is Jose Ibarra's apartment complex in Athens, Georgia. This is his next door neighbor's security camera. The neighbor tells me he caught Ibarra taking bloody clothes and evidence and ditching it into various dumpsters on the property. He handed over all the footage to the police. Other neighbors say Ibarra was the quiet type who sat outside his studio apartment where he lived with 4 others for all hours of the day. 4 others, huh? A different neighbor tells me she's seen Laken Riley use the apartment complex as a frequent shortcut to get to the running trail where she was brutally murdered. She tells me it's highly likely that Ibarra saw her running in the past and knew her schedule. We talked about that last time. I think the last time we did this stream, we talked about it. And I know Windows 11. I tried to restart the computer earlier. I told the members, but I bought new cables, and I meant to restart the computer, but it never fully restarted. So it shut down a lot of the services and apps, and I thought it restarted, but when I checked after I went live, it actually didn't restart. And so the service, some of the services are shut down. But that's okay, I guess. We'll make it through this live, and then I'll restart. But yeah, we talked about this thing, and I know it's easier said than done because I do things sometimes, and I think about it, like maybe the way I go to pick up Maddie, or maybe when I go for my little jog, or when I go to work out. It's the same kind of routine daily thing that really, if somebody wanted to kind of study and watch, they could. And maybe this wasn't, as the police said, a crime of opportunity. Maybe he probably knew the schedule. Let's check out this video. Let me make sure we see the whole thing here. Okay. Oh, there's the camera right there. And I wonder, has he done this before? Is this his first time? Sometimes these people do these crimes in their country, and then they come over here. They run away from there and come over here. There was a story that I covered. I wish I could remember what. It was a story, a true crime story. Was it a true crime story? There was a story that I covered. I can't remember, man. And the guy, it was some story. I don't even think it was a popular one, but the guy had done something in his country. Oh, no. Danilo Cavalcante, right? Cavalcante. He committed a crime. I think he stabbed somebody in a cafeteria in his country, fled that country, came over here, and murdered. I forgot what it was. Was it his girlfriend or something, or Cavalcante? What did he do? I can't even. So many cases. I started taking my ginkgo biloba yesterday again. That helps me out with my memory. With all these different stories recovering. Cavalcante did some stuff in his country, ran away from over there. He stabbed somebody in a cafeteria, came over here, and then he does some shit over here, and then goes on a run. Felony counts of burglary, criminal trespassing, theft, and possession. So he just escaped. But I forgot what else he did over here. I don't know. Oh, his girlfriend, right? It was a girlfriend. I think it was. So, just, I don't know, be really, really, I feel like things are just crazier this day and age. Things are just crazier and crazier. Just simple things. And she probably thought she was safe. I don't know what the neighborhood is like. That school on the last stream that we did hadn't had a murder since like the 1980s. I forgot what year it was where somebody was stabbed. So it's not like it's like at least on campus, like a crime-ridden thing that happened. Maybe she felt safe. Doing what she does. Thank you, Amy. Amy says he killed his girlfriend because she was going to turn him in. Yes, for the murder in his country. Thank you. That's it. Yep.
On campus. This is the first murder actually on UGA's campus in 30 years, according to the staff there at the school.
Yeah, Jason Dennis, that campus PD, they're on you like a cheap suit. We have a family.
Red Base says, I worry about when you walk with the dogs. I've seriously thought about that, and I honestly feel like I need to carry something with me sometimes. I do when I'm walking the dogs, because those dogs, the Frenchies, they're just worth a lot of money. I didn't buy them, but it's my girlfriend's dogs. So I think about that sometimes. I sometimes feel like I see cars slow down, and on the Ring app, I'll always see these dogs that are like missing. And a few times I've seen the Frenchies on there. And every time I see the Frenchies pop up, I'm like, oh, you're not getting the Frenchie back. You're definitely not, sadly, they're going to sell them.
Friend whose son attended UGA, graduated with honors, a musician, the works, then got a job connected to Homeland Security. He was a musician walking down Music Row there in Athens, and somebody threw an ID over a fence at a bar. He picked up the ID. He walked to the front of the entrance and went, this just came over the fence. And the cops got him for using a fake ID. He went, I'm not using the fake ID. It just came. Long story short, they're watching you like crazy. And I firmly believe this is very well the first homicide in at least 30 years.
Oh, yeah. First homicide in at least 30 years. British Chappie says, make sure you watch the church shooting body cam. So I know it came out yesterday. I hadn't watched it yet. I skipped to the part where the kid, he's like, I guess he's shot. He's obviously on the ground. And you can see him just laying there. And the lady screams out like, you shot my son or something like that. This psycho that brings her kid in with a gun, starts shooting, is wondering why her son got shot. But I haven't watched it yet. I wanted to watch it on YouTube, but then I was like, it seems like maybe it's too graphic. But then I saw Houston police posted it. Maybe they took it down. Let me see. I saw they posted it on YouTube. Maybe that shit got taken down. Maybe they nabbed their ass. Let me see. I just had a feeling like maybe it's not for YouTube because they show the kid's body on the ground. And yeah, they censored his face, but I was like, I think it might be like too much, but I haven't watched it yet. I don't know, YouTube. It's on YouTube though. I mean, for silly me for thinking, whatever. It's on there. The news channel posted it, so I guess it's fine to, let's see here. Let me see what they do here. Let me see if the news did any kind of editing as far as the kid. No. Jesus Christ. I mean, it might be interesting to watch. It's on YouTube. I was thinking, oh, maybe it's too much for YouTube. No, I guess not. Crazy. We can do it on the second channel then, I guess. We can check it out in the second one. The two female cops hid? Oh, now if it's on the news channels, then it's not going to be monetized, but we can check it out, react to it. After the stream, if you want, we'll do that on the second channel. What happened was yesterday, I didn't see that any of the news channels posted it, so like I wanted to be careful. They're definitely not going to monetize it, but we can still just watch it anyway, I guess. And check it out. I haven't watched it yet. I just skipped over it. And I'm really kind of curious to know who shot that kid. And I heard, I haven't checked myself. I don't know if it was Amy that told me. I think they took him off life support. I think he was on life support. I think they took him off. I don't know if he has no blood. Okay. We'll check it out. For sure. Oh, Carly, well, I'm going to go see your friend in March that her husband's military. And he's going to show me the ropes. It's 26 minutes long. All right, so let's finish this up. And then we'll check it out on the second channel. We'll watch it together.
Ready to theft protect.
Box.com/
Now stream.
I can't believe, Cheryl, that everybody's screaming about why was she jogging by herself? What was she wearing? Was she wearing shorts? Was she wearing a jogging bra? Why was she alone? Why did she pick that time of the day? It's obscene. Why aren't we talking about this guy who came into the country illegally? Number one, he was detained at, I believe it's El Paso, coming across the border. They let him go. Then he was arrested in New York. They let him go. And here he comes to UGA to collide with Laken. Before I get on that, tell me what you observed about the scene. I want to see if I agree with you.
Okay. When you get right there at Lake Herrick, there's a multi-level parking deck. So this is a well-used area. You've got intramural fields where the band practices. You've got multiple tennis courts. When we were there Friday and Saturday, there were tons of students playing tennis and pickleball. There were elderly people walking the path. There were people with their dogs. There were people kayaking. This is not a place that is not well traveled by folks.
Okay, stop right there. Stop right there. Stop right there. Guys, we're showing you pictures that Cheryl actually took for us. She has been on the ground for the last 2 days, combing the area to report back everything she could find. I agree with you completely. Right now, we're showing you where we believe Laken's body was found.
I'm muted. There we go. So we're going to finish this, and then we're actually going to do something else on this channel. I think we have the notifications, and then we'll go on the other channel and watch the shooting thing. So I'm making a thumbnail. I'll tell you in a second what we're going to do. We'll keep listening to this.
Does anybody on the panel know whether Laken was clothed or unclothed or partially clothed? Jump in.
She was discovered, with extreme facial injuries from what I was able to determine in my conversations. And of course, the problem here, Nancy, is something that we all need to be aware of. As an instructor for the Bureau, I taught death investigations, and one of the important points here is that individuals, when they are in areas that are protected, like this area is supposed to be, that area is supposed to be watched. It's supposed to be well traveled, but apparently it wasn't at the time. And we know these serial offenders or these offenders, like the individual who's charged here, frequently target areas of people. And my largest question is, how in the world did they come from New York? How are they living when they're not working in this apartment that's only 5 minutes away from this school? And they were in that area. He has seen that individual, if not that individual, other young ladies jogging by themselves. And they're certainly encouraged to do that. It's a health issue. It's a mental issue with running. And so it's unfortunate that we can't protect women wherever they are. But we know this: women have a right to be frightened of certain men. And that's exactly what's happened here.
You're hearing Dale Carson joining us, high-profile lawyer out of Jacksonville. He also, and more importantly, former FBI agent and former beat cop in Miami-Dade. Never a lack of business there. Dale, you're absolutely right. Cheryl McCollum, I want to get back to the location. I like that you pointed out how well used this area is. In other words, populated. Cheryl, I'm a runner, and there have been many times, and I've talked about it, well, I will be running, no earbuds in. Phil Vitrano taught us that because Karina had in earbuds, didn't hear what was sneaking up behind her, but no earbuds. But when you're running, you're in a groove, and you're not necessarily looking around you. But every once in a while, I get a feeling like, hey, I've gone too far. I need to turn around and get back. I don't even know where I am right now. And that's what happens. But this girl, Laken, had a route. She had a particular route. And we're hearing that the defendant, may he rot in hell, only lived a few minutes away. He knew this trail. He watched it like a predator, like a hyena at the water, watching the gazelles approach, and he waited for just the right one at the right time, and he pounced. And I guarantee you, technical legal term, that he did or tried to sex assault this young girl. He didn't just jump on her for what? To steal her tennis shoes? No. This guy, I guarantee you, attacked her. And he needs to go straight to the Georgia death penalty as a pit stop to hell. She did everything right, Cheryl. They had band practice there, pickleball, tennis. It's a very well-used jogging path, Cheryl. What else did you see?
The most important thing to me is the route is very clear. Where you start at the parking deck, you run this whole route, you come right back to it. She was a cross-country runner in high school. She was not unfamiliar with this terrain. So down by where Lake Herrick is where it's very populated, a whole bunch of folks. Once you get to the top of the route, coming back down, that's the part through the woods. That's where he was waiting on her. So again, instead of asking why was she there, why was he there? Why was he allowed to stalk and attack and murder and then walk back home? And Nancy, from the back of his apartment complex, so if you go to Milledgeville Avenue, it backs right up to this path that leads you to railroad tracks. Right over that is the path that he took to grab her, assault her, and murder her. And as the crow
And Cheryl,
flies,
it's not fenced off, is it?
No, sir. There's no fence. It's wide open, and there's multiple apartment complexes that can lead down to this lovely area. And I am telling you, I saw people in their 80s walking. I saw people from the community there. I saw students there. It is a beautiful place. But again, from his back door, as the crow flies, it wasn't 5 minutes.
Is there any visual connection?
Yes, he can see from his apartment into the area. He's just a few moments where he lives, I believe, with his brother, who is now behind bars on other charges, has had at least 3 arrests that we know. I mean, these two enter our country illegally. They live off the taxpayers. They have an arrest. The brother, multiple arrests. This guy, 1 arrest. They're still here, and he murders our Laken, our girl, a Dean's List student. Look at her. Look at her. There she is, all dressed up to be a nurse, wearing the little white jacket. She can't wait to take care of other people. That's over. She was brutally beaten. Joe Scott Morgan, what can you tell me about her mode of death? Guys, Joseph Scott Morgan is with us, professor of forensics at Jacksonville State University. And I've got to tell you, I've done several recreations there myself. It's an incredible program.
Ooh.
He's the author of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon and a star of a hit podcast.
All right. Hold on a second. We got a couple things going on here. I need, I'm going to ask the mods, if we have mods to look into this. Is BL around? No. Okay. I'm going to send this to Amy and the mods. Supposed to be a press conference coming up. Let's see if they can find a press conference on this. Year-old boy. Let me ask this lady too. Okay. Yo, the Fannie Willis thing is still going on. Key witness in Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis disqualification hearing set to take stand today at 2 p.m. Terrence Bradley will testify again after judge conducted an in-camera, in-chambers hearing. Nathan Wade's former law partner. This was earlier. Okay. There's a couple of things we could go back on and watch through the next couple of days. Oh, the link to my other channel? Yeah. The link's dropping in the chat now, but you could also type in Ikidmel CC on YouTube and it'll pull it up. I don't really know about the case. I know that was somebody's mother that got arrested or whatever. And she was trying to leave the country, I thought, or something, and they caught her ass. The trial is September 30th? Okay. Okay, there is a press conference coming up for a child that I've been wanting to cover, Elijah Vu. It says 5 p.m. Damn, bro. I went from taking nothing, one stream for a few days, a day, to we got 4 or 5 things we got to do. Ah! This is important, though. I want to cover this too. Oh! What are we going to do? Okay. Where is this press conference, though? That's what I want to know. Let me do this. Two Rivers. They say 5 p.m., but I'm wondering it's 5 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. what? They look like they're in Central Time. Wherever this is. 5 p.m. Okay. So while I figure this out, because I have possibilities for us. God, is there a chase? Oh, no. Hello? Hmm? Oh, I'm live right now. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, no problem. Okay, bye. Okay, the news conference will be held at 5. All right. I'm going to keep playing this Nancy thing. I'm going to make a thumbnail. We're going to do that when it comes up, which is, I think it's going to be 6 our time. I'll find out.
Podcast Body Bags with Joe Scott Morgan. Joe Scott, tell me about this little girl's mode of death. Just 22 years old, Dean's List, her family devastated, and then I've got this sack of crap behind bars who came in our country illegally and murdered this girl. How did he kill her, according to police?
Yeah, according to the police, what they're saying is that she sustained multiple blunt force trauma, and that can mean any number of things. We think about someone picking up a blunt object like a bat or, a rock or that sort of thing and attacking someone. However, the deeper you dive into this, you begin to think about, remember, he talked about a case of opportunity, and there's several ways to kind of skin that cat, if you will. So a case of opportunity, if he is there, he doesn't have a weapon, potentially he has beaten her to death with his hands, or he could have stepped on her. So that's going to be very important from a physical evidence standpoint.
But wait. He didn't just step on her. If his feet were the murder weapons, he had to kick her brutally. When we heard the chief of police at UGA say it was crime of opportunity, that tells me he came down just waiting, like I said, a hyena, a predator, without a weapon. Opportunity. That tells me he used, like Bundy used, a club, a piece of wood, a rock, his fists, his feet, and I believe, Joe Scott, she fought like hell, and therefore he murdered her.
Yeah, and one other thing, Nancy, it's very important. We have to examine this word opportunity. I wonder, from a physical evidence standpoint, this is kind of fascinating, something to explore. Did he have a hide set up? That is an observable point where he could see people coming and going. He had picked out the location. And is there physical tiebacks to that location? Let's think about footprints, rather. Let's think about also cigarette butts. Anything that is left behind that ties back specifically to him, that shows him in some kind of perch there waiting, where he's kind of receded back into the woods. And look, you jog, you know that you can't see everybody to your left and your right, but he can see them. He has an advantage. Who expects to be attacked as they're jogging?
I totally believe.
Is this Jason? Jump in, go ahead.
It's Phil Vitrano.
Oh, it's Phil, go ahead.
I totally believe he staked out the area, as in with Karina. And with Karina, she was found at a bottom of a U. So he could see people coming from the left and he could see people coming from the right. And I believe with Laken's murder, he had been following her or watching her. And he planned this out. And he just waited for her to come by. And he was most likely hiding somewhere in the wooded area. And I believe, this is what I believe, that he did have the idea of sexually molesting her, because what other reason would he have just to kill her? Just to kill her, like you said, for her sneakers? No. So we don't know if she was molested or not, but we will find out.
Phil Vitrano joining me, who's the father of Karina Vitrano. Phil, got a question. When Karina was murdered, did the perp use an object or his fists?
He first hit her with an available object, a rock. He hit her in the back of the head with a rock. And then he used his hands.
And, Phil, I don't like talking about the details of Karina's murder, but if it can help in any way shed light on this, I'll do it. And I want to thank you again for being with us and putting it out there, what Karina lived through and what you lived through. Karina was beaten so badly, her teeth were knocked out of her mouth. She was brutally beaten. And in this case, when I look at Laken, and I think about her jogging and her worried about classes and making all of her A+, and her family just so proud of her, getting into nursing school and her whole future laid out, I want to put my hands around this guy's neck and squeeze, and squeeze, and squeeze. And when you mentioned those girls, Phil Vitrano, you said Vanessa Marcotte, you said Molly Tibbetts, and now Laken Riley, and of course, Karina Vitrano. I mean, to you, Jason Dennis from WTVM, who's been on the story from the beginning, when I think of my little girl, Lucy, and the possibility, she's just not even just a couple of years younger than Laken. Who wants their daughter in this list? Nobody. When we say Karina Vetrano, Vanessa Marcotte, Molly Tibbetts, now Laken. What more can you tell us? What connected this sack of crap to the murder?
Well, and first of all, Nancy, I can tell you that as my son, like as I mentioned, he's 19 years old. He's a student at UGA, one of about 35,000 students. So this is a large school. You know it well. And, this, in this area right there, I saw an interview with a former roommate of Laken Riley. She was infuriated that how could something like this happen? She says, there's no excuses for like, okay, she was running or was she by herself? What was she wearing? She said that this area is run often by all kinds of people, all kinds of parts of the day. My son is a runner as well. And I mean, he literally parks at the intramural fields right next to that area. It's very heavily traveled, especially on a weekday morning. So, he was, allegedly lying in wait. And, along with being arrested by ICE through El Paso back in 2022. And then he was arrested 5 months ago for what they called acting in a manner to injure a child under the age of 17. That was in New York City 5 months ago. And he was released because they couldn't have a detainer on him. So released because essentially they did not have room for him or couldn't keep him behind bars. And you mentioned earlier, his brother, Diego Ibarra, he was also arrested in Georgia. He had actually accused of using a fake green card to get a temporary job with food services at the University of Georgia, did not provide further documentation. So he was fired from that job, never officially paid by the University of Georgia. So you have these two brothers that are living there in Athens in that area, and both, allegedly illegal immigrants. And there's no nobody looking out for what they're doing, why they're doing it. And, and as Cheryl mentioned earlier, and she maybe can speak to this, but according to reports, there's no visible security cameras or really good lighting in that area around the lake. But the University of Georgia did release a statement recently, and in a letter to parents actually, about this disturbing incident, that they said just last Wednesday or Thursday, like right before this murder happened, they approved some enhanced lighting improvements. I'm not sure if it's for this specific area, but for around campus. And this brings to light, the need for those kind of things.
All right. So let me let you guys know what's going on. So at 6 Eastern, which is 5 Central, there's going to be a press conference for this missing 3-year-old. This is one of the people that I've wanted to cover, but just kept getting delayed and didn't have time. And so, like as happened previously, there's a press conference. Let's just jump on it. So I'm going to set that stream for 5:45. I could actually launch it earlier. I just need to restart the computer, pull up some of these articles. I believe the parents were arrested, but I saw something just now about a caretaker, so I don't know what's going on. And it's a story out of Wisconsin. He's been missing for, I think, a week. Elijah Vu. I saw something, I don't know, something about Elijah Vu's mother, Vang, charged with child neglect. I might even start it at 5:30. 30 minutes, can we do it? 30 minutes ahead of time? Or 5:35. I just want to restart the computer to make sure all the kinks are worked out and pull up an article. Or actually, several articles that BL had sent me. There's old press conferences as well. We can talk about it. Let me see how long is this court hearing? 20 minutes. Yeah, I think I'm gonna start it for 5:30 if we have the time. Hello, mother and the boyfriend. Gotcha. Thank you. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Bye. So I'm going to set it for 5:30. Launch it a little bit early, I guess, so we'll hang out. I'll go over the articles. There's some court hearing stuff, and we can take our time until the presser actually starts. And then after that, there's something else that I want to do. I got to check that we have notifications on this channel, and then anything else for the rest of the day is going to be the second channel. Just fix this up real quick. Okay. All right, let me set up redirect. I'm going to try 5:30, but if I'm a few minutes late, that's why. But I'd like to actually sit and watch some of the videos on it before the presser to try to understand what's going on together. What I'm saying. All right, so set up redirect. Also, I just want to thank for the people that have upgraded. Thank you so much to Jeannie2, Stephanie, Natalie Lopez, Happy Life. Thank you for the membership. But tier 1 is going away like in 2 days. Just a heads up if you want to consider upgrading. Brit Focus, thank you for upgrading. Thank you so much. All right, so I'm going to end this now and do a full restart to get the little audio. Hopefully the audio kinks worked out. And I should be launching in a couple of minutes. And we'll chill for a little bit before the presser. All right. See you guys.